I'm writing this script on my birthday. To celebrate, I've decided I'm gonna treat myself to breaking one of my self-imposed PANDANGIT exclamation point format rules. So which one should I break? The one where I don't talk about a popular, well-trodden nerd franchise that already has a ton of content about it? The one where I don't focus on my weird, hyper-specific tarot opinions? Ooh, how about the one where I don't spend the entire several minutes just complaining about something? You know what? I'm gonna treat myself. We're breaking them all. This one hurts, because I want to like this deck. I swear, I do. I am a Fallout fan, and Fallout's got a deep, rich cache of lore that covers post-nuke survival, social satire, existential horror, cosmic horror, good old-fashioned horror classic, romance, family drama, political drama, and a special secret thing known only by myself, both Curies, and that beer robot. Because what happens in Good Neighbor stays in Good Neighbor. The point is, Fallout is a blanket term covering a property that has not only a distinctive art style, but a treasure trove of well-recorded, widely beloved story hooks. And that's all you need from any franchise to make a fully functional tarot deck with it. You can make your own gimmick deck at home by tracing the Rider-Waite-Smith art and replacing all the heads with Deadpool, a bar so low that I'm genuinely surprised Rob Liefeld hasn't tried it yet. A Fallout Tarot deck should have been easier than getting a VATS-assisted headshot on a swan-sized Funko Pop. Now let's talk about how hard that ball got dropped and which team player was the one dropping it. No, it wasn't the fine glitch wizards at Bethesda this time, but a publishing outfit known as Insight Editions. I might get some heat from tarot collectors for this, but hey, it's my birthday, so whatever, here we go. Most Insight Editions tarot decks are, in a word, trash. They are the tarot equivalent of game mill video games, and the cardboard equivalent of unwiped butts. The nicest thing about most of them is usually the box they come in, which is fine because their target audience seems to be gift givers, uncritical hoarders, and shoplifters. Anyone hoping to read the dang things are going to run into crappy cardstock, questionable artistic choices, blatant corner cutting, and bullheaded determination to stretch the deck's gimmick over every inch of tarot, even if the result doesn't make sense to either tarot or the gimmick. And yeah, Get to Bethesda's got a reputation for broken, half-baked nonsense, one which extends to their merch, but hey, tarot's not some sprawling open world of infinite code interactions or a tote bag made of recycled sporks being marketed as not made of recycled sporks. Tarot is a storytelling craft that's been hitting the same go-to story beats for centuries. But no, even out the gate, this thing starts on the wrong foot and keeps growing new feet to stumble over. For starters, the box might just say Fallout Tarot, but you won't hear squat about the Master, Shady Sands, Kaiser's Legion, Reclamation Day, the Enclave, the Garys, the Calculator, not even Herald, a ghoul who becomes a tree. And I have to ask, how do you not find at least one place in a tarot deck to put a guy who turns into a tree? Most tarot types already look and or smell like they're turning into plant life, and that's not just an accusation, that's a confession. Nope, as far as this occult-adjacent consumerist shelf weight is concerned, only Fallout 4 counts. And you know what? Fine, you only need 78 story hooks. We can certainly find 78 fables in the Commonwealth, right? Right. Unironically, right. But the Fallout Tarot deck couldn't even pull that off. Some of my gripes are tough to explain to non-tarot readers, so tell you what, give me 60 seconds of your time, I'll make you a tarot reader. Ready? Go. Tarot is memes. You're telling a story and the cards are just memes. Giving you the story to tell. Oh, and the spreads are just like meme formats. And it's totally fine to use a book to look things up. Use the one I use. There's websites too. They're just as good. I probably didn't need a whole 60 seconds. Okay, so now that you're all up to speed, you might be wondering, hey, if that's all tarot is, why do people get money for doing it? Well, for the same reason Taylor Swift gets paid to do the same thing you do at karaoke. Because some people can do it in an entertaining way and, more to the point, they memorize the script. Of course, you don't have to memorize every little word because it's common for these cards to give you some art to remind you of the meaning. You know, like a meme. So what's this have to do with the Fallout deck? Okay then, you tell me what this card is supposed to mean. Go on, take your best guess. I promise you, even your less than a minute of tarot wisdom is as good as mine. This here is a common trick Inside Editions uses to fill its gimmick decks cheaply. They use the old pip system from the 1700s so they don't have to make a bunch of whole cloth original art. Now, technically, you can still read Marseille-style pips. There's even a formula for it you can memorize in like an hour. But it's not what I'd call a popular method, and most people paying for a reading would rather see a cool picture of a fight than just be told, oh, these 7 sticks mean something's challenging you. So already, this is not a great way to make a tarot deck you intend to use regularly. But wait, Inside Editions doesn't stop there. Remember that formula I discussed? Yeah, part of it requires you to know the suits. The swords, the cups, the wands, and the coins. Each with their own corresponding element and ballpark topic. You see a wand, you know it's the fire suit, dealing with things like passion and creativity. But nah, that's still too straightforward for Inside Editions. They have to reskin all the suits to fit an overworked gimmick. So the 4 suits of the Fallout deck are based on the 4 major factions of the Commonwealth: Brotherhood of Steel, Institute, Railroad, and Minutemen. Now, which one of those do you suppose represents creativity and passion? Well, I hope you guessed the Minutemen, because that's where they landed in this nuclear waste of cardstock. This is like trying to do a special new kind of Casey explosion math, where all the numbers are her catchphrases and the operation signs are her Twitch subscriber emoji. This means you either have to look everything up, no matter how many times you learn tarot in 60 seconds or less, or you have to carve out a whole special section of brain wrinkles to read just this one deck. Now let's assume so far you personally can concede to this bold-faced lazy thrift, because you absolutely refuse to use the lessons of that 60-second tutorial with anything that doesn't contain pictures of super mutants. Fine, let's look at some of the cards they did see fit to illustrate properly in the major arcana. First, let's look at the Emperor. This is a card that represents authority, order, and decisions based on logic and discipline. And in a deck full of kings and queens, the Emperor is considered the most commanding of them all. The Commonwealth has some really strong contenders for the Avatar of Authority. I feel like there's a very strong case to be made for Elder Maxon, who rolled up on the scene with a literal army, and we could also go with the Sean Father, whose authority is informed by literal centuries of scientific discovery. So I have no idea why this deck went with Hancock instead.
Why would you do something so stupid?
I'm not gonna crap on Hancock, okay? He's hands down my favorite ghoul in all of Fallout. Yes, even more than the Gogginator. Be nice, it's my birthday. And he is one of the few NPCs I legit enjoy having as a tag-along. He's also a chem-huffing colonial cosplayer who runs like half a city block. And not only will he gleefully ditch that responsibility to come follow me around the wasteland collecting typewriters, but if I tell him to go hang out by himself at the Red Rocket near Sanctuary, he just will. No questions asked. This deck's avatar of responsible leadership is literally an irresponsible follower.
Come on, man. This is me we're talking about.
Oh, here's another one, the Hierophant. A lot of tarot folks read this card by looking it up anyways, but generally speaking, it represents spiritual wisdom and enforcing social norms. And while it's not mandatory to represent it with a religious leader, it's considered the best visual shorthand for the concept. The original tarot card from the 1700s used to put a pope on it for that reason. Fallout Tarot tags in the most obvious answer, freaking Codsworth, because sure, I guess you can draw a straight connecting line between a wise, influential thought leader dictating social norms and a Robco consumer product that waxed a rusted car for 200 years if the deadline's tight enough. But like, even if Elder Maxon was busy, this could have been Mother Isolde, or heck, why not Hancock? I'd buy Hancock as a leader enforcing order through vibes way more than as an ultimate authoritarian.
Who said that? Coming up to my office later. You've earned yourself some jet.
Now this next one's kind of funny if you think about it. The Chariot is a card about the motivation to get things done, but it represents that with the metaphor of travel. It's a vehicle, you see, aimed towards where you need to go. The Fallout deck gives that job the Preston Garvey. So in my head at least, Fallout predicts your every move as being because
another settlement has sent word that they need our help.
I try to keep these episodes under 10 minutes, and I'm not doing a great job with this one. So I'm not gonna bring up the bonkers crowbar job they did with the Royals, or all the other majors they mapped like slop. We'll save that for a longer video. Instead, let's focus on the nice, clean, simple solution they somehow missed, even though they briefly brushed against it. My 2 favorite cards in the deck, which I love unironically, are the Magician card and the Death card. Now, do you notice anything interesting here? I'll spell it out for you. First, the deck had no issue using Vault Boy. Second, they had no issue using Vault Boy more than once. Third, these cards have clean, simple art on them that conjures the meaning of the card, or, at the very least, doesn't muddy it with plot-specific implications. All over the Fallout series, we see the Vault Boy being used to act out the important things that every player needs to know. It's a visual language Fallout already has, and like we learned during the masterclass earlier, tarot is memes. It works precisely by being a succinct, universal visual language. If Insight Editions gave us a deck that was just Vault Boy and Vault Girl and all the classic Rider-Waite-Smith poses, I'd do every reading with it. And this video would have been about the god-awful Star Trek deck they made instead. In fact, that would have made it a true Fallout deck and not just a Fallout 4 deck. And, get this, you could have even made it lore-friendly by calling it the deck, like an anagram, meaning something like Divinatory Entertainment Cartomancy Kit. But no, Insight Editions has a core way they like to do things. Their decks seem to just mandate goofy mappings, shoehorned content, and lazy justifications. You'll see the evidence of this core in most of their other themed decks, even if the clearest, most sensible path forward is to use the property in a meaningful, creative way which embraces its themes and aesthetics, rather than forcing them into a soulless, rote formula. Insight Editions is going to prioritize that soulless, cynical, creatively bankrupt, and disrespectful core of theirs every single time. And the core never changes. What? It's my birthday. I'm taking a week off from the slapstick gag.